Oops. All right. Welcome back to the Black Ribbon Warrior podcast, episode 22. Wow. Didn't think when it started, I didn't know we was going to make this many podcasts, but hey, we're doing it.
Yep.
So we were kind of chatting about what to talk for this week, and it hit me today when I was posting on my Facebook group and that I'm a part of, and on Instagram. Your reason why. We had a pretty big last 2 weeks. You had your college graduation, which is super, super amazing in the fact that during all my stuff, doctor's appointments, insurance calls, you working, you found time to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Rock star. And so you graduated 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Ceremony, waiting on diplomas in the mail.
Yeah, we didn't do the ceremony.
No, but I mean, they had the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
You chose not to walk, which, hey, whatever, you've done it how many times now?
I've only done it once. Well, I had my pinning.
Yeah.
But it wasn't graduation. I haven't done a college graduation.
So we didn't, we weren't like, oh, hey, you got to go do this, whatever. So her choice, whatever. And you're already doing the job in the field.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of talked about that, so it's amazing. Absolutely awesome. But this week, we had our youngest graduated high school. And it was a hectic week. Family started showing up mid-afternoon on Tuesday. And I think the last ones that were staying in our house.
Yeah, they came late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning.
The oldest came in Thursday
she came
morning.
In Thursday morning.
Yeah, she came in Thursday morning and stayed with us until yesterday. So it's been crazy because we added another 5-6 people to our house that hasn't even accustomed to the fourth one being in.
Right.
So we've had just the three of us for I don't know, say 3 months, because when the middle one came in for spring break, she stayed with us and whatnot. So, but it was adjusting just three of us.
It's just been the three of us, and then on occasion for college breaks, the middle one came home. So
it was awesome to have everybody in and to be able to see it and the house decorated. I can say the house decorating my nerves were shot.
Mm-hmm.
I was way overstimulated, making my anxiety higher. But I find that with, especially lately with trying to do more. And it's just an obstacle I got to overcome, but I also got to be able to stay, hold on, timeout. I need a timeout. And I did that. Don't give me the look. I did that. I did walk away. When I felt comfortable that things were in a spot I could take off, then I did. Yeah. And I went up and I had to hide out for about 30 minutes while I was supposed to be, quote unquote, getting ready.
I think this is where it's gonna come out bad.
I'm trying a grape Zevia.
It's where your time management and your multitasking, I don't want any, thank you, where that all is noticeably different. Because all week we've known that this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was working till 5 every night, and I was not even home for 3 days.
Right, you were working in the office.
So I didn't get home until 6:20 even 7 o'clock because I treated.
Yep.
And then my family was in. So it's like that where I was trying to get things done early. Get the house clean, get the vacuum running, get the dusting in, get this done, get that done, get this done. You often don't work that way.
No, I was ready
because,
to...
like, you know, I wanted, like, the table cleaned off in your little area. I'm like, we're going to use this for this. And you're like, okay. And all week when I was, like, pointing out things that could be done, it was like, I'll get to it. And this is the thing. And you said you do this. If you say, I'm going to do this today, you already know you're not going to end up doing it.
Right.
You know, like you thought out the chicken because you were going to make chicken for the thing. And then you didn't do that. And then...
Yeah, I laid up chicken wings, and I was going to make two big 9x13 pans of chicken wings on the grill. And, yeah, that didn't happen.
And so that's where I think the stress came from, because not only were we trying to get some stuff done, but it's nothing got done through the week as far as the organization of this area or that area.
Well, they did. What became the trouble is we couldn't set up the house because we were still using some of the areas to live. Like right. You had the table that we needed downstairs to set up the table as an office. But anyway, it's just nitpicking.
You and I do things like that very differently.
So it was for me. It was high anxiety.
You were high anxiety because you're high anxiety. It's high anxiety for me.
And I couldn't get to.
And I just wanted to be like, I need you to walk out of this room.
Yep, because
so that I can get something done. Because when you're too anxious, you're not helpful.
Yep, and I was wanting to do the couple things that I was, quote unquote, in charge of, but I couldn't do that because everything was. Life has happened in our kitchen.
You know, so I mean, it's just the differences in how we are and how we manage, and
yep, and
yeah,
in that though, I found what I was kind of getting around to was we never really. I don't think we talked about it. You and I didn't talk about it. I'm sure it came up in different conversations that you had with your peers, that we didn't know if I was going to make it to see her graduate. Mm-hmm. It was a blessing to see the middle one graduate last year, and we didn't really talk about whether or not we were just kind of like, don't talk about it, it's going to happen, you're going to be here. But then when you know, as I'm seeing things from a different lens right now, I'm like, wow, I was this close to not making it.
Well, you know, it's...
That I could have, if I didn't fight hard enough, then I probably wouldn't be here. And I would have missed that. And that brings you around to the quote that I saw was, in my story, it may read a lot of things, but it'll never read that I gave up. And, you know, that was kind of like find your why. These last 2 weeks were the why. The wife and the kids. You know, to hit all of the little milestones and how important those little things are.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I told you the other day, like, when you're like, oh, we have spent a shit ton this week. And I'm like, well, I'm just happy it's all for a good outcome, because they wouldn't have wanted a party.
So what and it seemed like we were spending a lot of money, but we haven't spent. We haven't spent hardly anything because our eating habits have changed. Mm-hmm. Our desires to run around have changed to where we may go out to eat once a week, and we would almost rather just find something to snack on and take the dogs to the dog park and let them run, and then come home and find popcorn or a snack or something, and you know, so our eating habits have changed in the last couple months, and so I mean, we really hadn't been spending much, but
no, but you made that comment, and I'm like, well, be thankful we were here to do it, because if you weren't here, she wouldn't have wanted it.
Yeah, she wouldn't have wanted a party if
she wouldn't
if
have
I wasn't
wanted
here.
to celebrate it. And this one struggled.
She struggled a lot.
So hard.
She trying to find herself and whatever. We actually found out that she had a hearing problem. We didn't know about because we don't know how.
I have a hearing problem.
Yeah, so, and we didn't know how long she's dealt with this.
No, like we knew she was good in like 5th grade, and because I couldn't hear, it's kind of the unspoken rule in our house. Like, you can't talk to me in another room, and you can't talk to me for more than 3 feet away from me, and you've got to look at me. So the kids have all been groomed that this is the way you interact with mom.
And
so that's how we interacted with her.
And she had learned to read lips really quick.
Well, yeah.
It's
a hearing thing. We all do it.
But it wasn't until like she was in class. Hello,
and it was
COVID.
Getting harder.
Hello, COVID.
It was her 8th grade year. We found out.
So she started having a real hard time studying and hearing, and that's when we started looking into it, and it was like, wow. One of the things, the day that she had her new hearing aids in, and I poured a glass of soda, and she goes, holy shit. And I kind of looked at her, I was like, what? She's blank faces all get out. And she goes, I have never heard the soda fizz.
Yeah, she's like, I could see it. I could see the bubbles, but I didn't know it made a sound.
And you talk about, I mean, you just witness, like, the first thing, you see the picture, the little videos of the babies and stuff, but to see somebody actually witness that, and it's your kid, you're like, oh.
Yeah, and there's so many of those moments that are like that. Like, did you know you could hear cars driving on the road?
Yeah.
Did you know that you can hear cicadas? They drive her crazy.
Yep.
And all these little sounds. So you have that, and you have this. She does have OCD. She's OCD with sensory.
Yeah, that was one of her coping mechanisms.
And because she couldn't hear, things like spelling, they're really hard for her. Anything, English is hard for her.
Yep, especially now because she hasn't learned what, like, vowels, or, whenever there's like a long A or...
Yeah, she doesn't know what sounds letters make.
Yeah.
Because one, they changed in her years of education. They didn't focus on phonics. They did sight words. So she doesn't know what individual sounds make. So for her to, sound out a word, she cannot do it. So, when she started high school, her high school year was rough. We went to public school for a semester. It was horrible. And we were able to get her into a charter school. And then when she went to that charter school, her GPA was almost non-existent.
Yep.
And she went from being an A/B student to this non-existent GPA. And we found the right mix for her. And she had a couple really good aides that fought just as hard for her as we did.
So now imagine this going on.
Right.
Plus, you're a teenage girl. So you have that going on. You're in a new school.
And you're hearing impaired.
And you're hearing impaired. So she had a lot going on. And once we get that somewhat straightened out, cancer happens.
Yeah.
And unlike her sisters, she was stuck.
Yeah.
I say stuck, but
You know, Peyton,
she was here at the house because
Peyton was here for the first year.
but Pay was able to run and work as much as she could to keep her out of the house.
Right.
And so any free time she was gone. I mean, that's a typical teenager anyway. But it was more incentive to get out. And Cub was stuck with me. She was my right hand for a long time. And for the most part still is.
Mm-hmm.
So she, you know, we talked when she was on, we talked about that where she was it. And to think that, you know, if I wouldn't have had my why to fight, it wasn't just because I was stubborn and the odds were against me, you know, which is normally what happens. Somebody tells you can't do something and, you know, you say, hold my beer, I'm going to do it anyway. Well, there was a reason why, and I wasn't conscious of it until probably till this morning when I was kind of reflecting on the weekend. And I don't, it's just, I mean, it's breathtaking to think that, you know, that this almost didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
She's witnessed all of our ups and downs. She tries to hide in her room, but she comes down and she knows she's got that sense that tells her something's up.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we can just tell her insurance. She's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. But anyway, she's, it was a blessing to be able to participate in the decorating of the graduation party, going to the ceremony, sitting through it, which wasn't as long as the other ones.
No, where there's
About
2/3 less kids.
Yeah.
Her school's a lot smaller.
And, you know, we did the little shindig. We, you know, family came in and stayed with us, and it was all hectic and crazy, but
it wasn't too bad.
It's
well, been crazier.
Yeah, it's been worse, but like at this point, you know, like trying to.
The big thing was sleeping spaces and spaces for anyone to get away.
I mean, we added 6 more people to the house, and it just changes things.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just trying to keep track, and you know, my dad's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Stay in your lane, Grandpa. Stay in your lane." And he goes, all right.
About
So
what?
It was just
anything bad.
No, it was just like where everybody was going and who's doing what. And he's like, what are we doing? I was like, if you want to go somewhere, we'll go. If not, stay in your lane. We'll hang out. And we did. We watched a lot of old movies. So, but we got to.
We had to meet some of our friends.
We got to have a surprise party for Mama.
Which made me very uncomfortable.
I know.
And then you took videos and pictures, and I didn't like that either.
I know, I did.
But it makes me uncomfortable, and I think you forget that my feelings are just in that.
Yes.
I mean, it's one thing to do that, but
it
just makes me uncomfortable.
In the other way, it is a proud moment that I was able to witness.
Well, I know.
So, in the event that something would happen, you would have that, kind of like the old home movies from the the 80s. So, but we had our little surprise party, and she was very unhappy, but she was also very excited. We got to see a lot of good people. Mm-hmm. A lot of people came out and showed her love for her. And so the big thing was just kind of, finding your why. Why do you do the things that others say you shouldn't do or you can't do? sometimes you don't even know until it's already passed. It's, I don't know, I'm kind of lost for words. Very blessed to have this weekend and to hang out with the family we did. And Gramps is still in.
Mm-hmm.
He's downstairs hanging out. I got him watching some YouTube videos where they're restoring old cars. So he's actually kind of enjoying that. He's stuck in a series now where they're restoring. Excuse me. I'm drinking this grape Zevia, and yeah, a little burp action. Sorry about that. But they pulled out this like 73 Nova out of a barn that had been on fire. And he's like, I used to have a 74. So now he's kind of invested in watching how they get this thing back running and driving it. So he's kind of into it, so whatever.
It's better than most of the things you watch, I guess. I am over all the other stuff. Like, way over it. Like,
Yeah, I know.
So over it that I never saw it again. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I know. So, but... So with that, we had a little break in the weather because it rained all week.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it was off and on all week. So, got a little break in the weather. It was cloudy today. So, I went up, put on my bucket hat, and still had my jammy pants on, and slid on my sun shirt, and took the doggies for the walk. Got out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Felt good. Just kind of while I was walking, I was kind of just thinking about the weekend, and I was just like, wow. A lot of blessings in it. So, that's my why.
It's a good why.
Yep. And that's why I'm going to keep on going the way that I'm going.
And I think, I always go a little overboard on the holiday stuff.
Yep.
But my why is the same.
Yep. And, we usually don't do many. We'll do like a selfie or, you and I, which we did do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that you've always been, hey, we got to take a selfie. And I'm like, whatever. Now I'm like, hey, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, we didn't get one yet. Because it's the little moments that you treasure, or that you are going to treasure. So, but, going forward, we got scans coming up in...
about 3 weeks.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
4
weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so 4 weeks, so far, not as nervous. Hasn't set in yet. We've been kind of occupied with other thoughts.
You have stuff. You have a test Friday.
Yep, I got a...
Thursday or Friday. I don't know what day it is.
It's a echocardiogram.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Because that was a new thing that your treatment brought.
I tell you what,
it brought a little heart action, and so you just got to monitor it. That's all.
I tell you what, if you want to feel like you got one of those infomercials that are like, hey, take this drug, but your side effect could be like every letter in the alphabet. Yeah, that's it. Cancer did that. Mm-hmm. We got to checking out everything.
Yep, we've done it all now.
Yep.
So you have that, and then we get a little break, and then we have scans.
Yep.
So.
But feeling pretty good here lately. I've been tired a lot more, but I've been trying to get out more and trying to do more. I'd say I'm trying to do more, but it seems like Thursday last week, I was just wiped.
Mm-hmm.
I was just done. And I was like, I just laid on the couch, watching movies with Gramps, and he had on some old westerns, and I just was like, I'm done. I'm just laying here, chilling.
Yep, until it was time to go.
Yep, and then it was time to go get ready and off to the graduation ceremony, and the couple was running around all week. We got to meet her new interest.
Mm-hmm. Nice kid.
Yep, nice kid.
Respectful.
Yep.
Has some good manners.
Yep. I was a little too wore out to try to sharpen a knife or, anything like that. So
Seriously, he walked in, shook your hand, and before he left, he shook your hand again.
Yep.
So he stood every time she stood up. He was invested in what she was thinking, and
yep, Andy's got a good job and seems like a good head on his shoulders.
He's got a job. He's going to school with a good plan.
Yep.
He has a plan.
So you can't ask for too much more than that.
Mm-mm.
So, and it's a big deal for her to bring one around.
Yeah.
Yeah, big deal. But
this is what it's like.
Yep. So I got an invitation from a lady on Facebook or on Instagram. To what she's doing is putting together a collage that's a message. And so she reached out to a bunch of people to, with, like, she would give us a section to read. So, like, whatever my part is, I know what it is, but, so then when she puts it all together, it's all these different people saying the message. Kind of neat idea, and I was, feeling pretty honored to, that they reached out to me about it, so I got to send that to her later tonight.
Okay.
But that was kind of a neat little deal.
Right.
Little melanoma message.
So, okay, funny thing. So my sister gets here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, her and I love the sun. I love to sit in the sun. I like to just kind of lay there all day, like go to the beach and lay in the sun. And yes, has this changed that? Yes. Did I go tanning every year? Yes, I do. Because it feels good on my body to be when it's all nice and hot and warm. And I don't know, it's weird. But it's always been something that has really felt good. And so I'm more aware of tanning and being in the sun. And, my sister comes and I'm looking at her and I'm like, did you go tanning? She said, oh my God, don't call me out. I was like, but did you? She's like, yes, I did. But I said, oh my gosh. She was, I know I'm in the house of melanoma and I went tanning. I'm like, did you think I wasn't going to notice? And she's like, I'm like, that. I go, I thought at least it would be like a spray tanner. She's like, no, it's not, because I didn't, and we just kind of had to laugh about it. But it is that, it was just kind of funny.
It is one of those that they don't think about it because it's not them. And I don't mean that negative, and I don't mean that bad. But because they are 500 miles away on a daily, they don't think about it.
She thinks about it more
as we do.
It's not the same as what it is for us.
Right.
That's all. It's just not the same as it is for us.
Which brings up an interesting point. On the Facebook group, there was a lady who commented that since her since she's been through her treatments and everything, going out on the speedboat scares the crap out of her because there's no shade.
Right.
And I said, I'm with you, because you almost have to think about that and create your own,
And
along with, the sunscreen and the shirts and the all the coverage.
yeah, I mean, I did not buy my pool like normal. I bought a little bed, and I plan to sit in the sun some, but I will use some sunscreen.
Yep.
Because there's something about being in sunshine that feels good, and it feels odd because I do love it. Now, granted, I don't want to be out doing things and sweating. I want to lay in some cool water in the sunshine, or on a nice sandy beach in the sunshine, or in the ocean in the sunshine.
Yep.
And that's changed because now it's very selfish for me to want to go to the beach because it's not good for you. And I know it could be bad for me in some senses, but it's not near as dangerous for me as it is for you.
Well, in Hotel Transylvania 2, Dracula went on a cruise ship.
Well, I've asked you to take me on a cruise ship, and you see we're still
Yes,
in our closet.
but what I was saying was Dracula can go on a cruise ship. I might be able to manage a beach.
I'm always game.
But it was just one of those that, you kind of, now it's something I think about. I was sitting downstairs and, I had a t-shirt on. I was like, oh, I'm going to walk the dogs. Let me go up and put my sun shirt on. And
we've talked, my family's talked about that. Like me and my sister have talked about that because we do like to go to the beach, and we do like to, when they come down, we always try to go to the beach for a day or two. And it's one of those where like, well, you want to go? And half the time you're like, why do I want to go sit in the sun? Yeah. I'm like, I know, but we all want to go sit in the sun. Like, I don't want to exclude you in any way. How is this going to work? Yep. And, how do you
and
do
it's
it?
not like I can bring just an umbrella, because you're going to have a big umbrella or the canopy with sides just to create the nice shade.
Maybe I should get you that
little
one
dome.
Person dome thing, and you can sit inside and you can still watch because you like to people watch.
Yep.
There's maybe occasionally you can walk out and get in the ocean and get cool.
What is it?
And
One
then
of
walk
those
back to the
one of those camping showers.
Yeah, maybe that's what we should get you.
Little camping shower with a little roof on top of it.
Oh, her package just arrived.
Oh yeah, she'll be happy about that.
She will be. Maybe that's the secret.
I'll just have to put like a little lock on it so nobody thinks it's a
porta potty.
A porta john. It's a porta bear. Yeah, I've thought about that. I was like, if we go to the beach, because it's about summertime. And
it's just one of those things I love to do. And it is because I like, you can take me onto the sand and let me sit by the water, and you know this.
Yep.
For hours. It doesn't have to be hot. It doesn't have to be super warm. I don't want to be freezing, but I'll sit out there in my sweatshirt the same as I'll sit out there in my bathing suit.
I don't mind it if I'm out in the morning or the evening, like dusk.
Like, I don't like to sit out there and sweat to death.
No. But
I do like to sit out there and just feel the sunshine. For some people, it's being in the mountains and mowing the yard or doing. No, I just want to lay there. I want to have zero responsibilities in that moment and just lay there. I am so sorry. Allergies have me a mess again.
Well, with the weather changing like it has,
I have coughed nonstop for 2 weeks. But, yeah. So it's one of those learning a balance in some ways.
Yep. And, and I think about that when I'm out doing stuff. I mean, I was like, I'm going to take dogs for a walk. I got to go change my shirt. When I'm out cutting grass, I wear gloves when I push mow or string trim, which I did once. But I put gloves on just so my hands don't get burnt, because I got to watch that. I see that... what's that malignance where the skin tone changes?
No, it's like Vitilgo. I can't say it.
Vitiligo.
Let me look it up.
But anyway, because if I'm outside, it seems like, not very long, but you'll see like the pigments in the skin get brighter, where the white stays really white. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, and it's not getting sunburnt. It's just being out and I guess the sunlight highlighting it. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm very conscious of, or not conscious, but nervous.
Vitiligo.
Which is where the skin, the pigment, the color in the skin dies.
Yeah, it kills the melanin. And the melanin is what makes your skin tan. So people of color have a lot of melanin, and that's why they have browner skin. Yep. People that are albino have no melanin, and that's why they're so fair. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, it's also kind of is a genetic thing, but that's why their skin is so fair. So, yeah, like this is your real skin color, and this is the melanin in your skin.
Yeah, and when I, like this patch right here, when I'm outside, the melanin, the regular skin color, looks brighter, and the white looks whiter.
Well, I think your skin is just much more sensitive now.
But it's not like it's getting sunburn or anything, because it's like just walking to the mailbox or something, or just seeing my arms outside. So I think it's just the way the sun hits, the lighting changes.
Maybe you're part vampire now.
Could be.
Edward sparkled.
When I was going in for radiation, I thought, oh man, I'm in this big room. Here's this big machine. I'm getting radiated. Is there a spider? Could I become Spider-Man?
I guess not. It didn't happen.
No, I mean, I kind of hoped it would, but didn't happen.
No superpowers.
Well, none like that.
You don't pick up like any special frequencies, and we can't put magnets on your head or
no,
nothing,
but we did try that where the girls were like, "You got a steel plate in your head?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so they put a magnet,
it's
and
probably titanium.
Whatever. And I was like, so then I pretended, I was like, as the magnet got close to my head, I was like, on today's news. And they laughed. They thought it was funny, but it was one of those jokes you had to be there.
I guess. I'm tired today.
I know. Today's just been I
feel like today's a letdown day. Not in a ugly way. It's, we had excitement leading up until last week.
The cool down.
I mean, it was a lot of excitement leading up until last week and getting things ready, and like we said, like for her graduating, yes, and her and her aides and I talked about this, that for kids like her, that it is so hard. You want to always hope that they're going to graduate, but there was a period that we were like, oh my gosh, we just got to get her through.
Yep.
And what is this going to look like for her, and how is she going to do this? And it is just so much harder for her. And she ended up doing awesome. And we were proud of her. Her aides are proud of her. She's proud of her. She got into a college. She's proud of that. We're proud of that.
Like, she has set up her game plan, her college game plan, what she wants to do and where she wants to go and how she's going to get there. And it's amazing.
Just watching her make this plan.
Yes.
So that was exciting and building up. And then the build up of getting her ready. It was so funny when I asked her early on Thursday, I said, are you nervous? And she said, no, nothing to be nervous about. And then she was getting dressed. And I said, you all right? Because you kind of got to do some check-ins with her.
Yep.
And I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I don't want everyone to look at me." I said, "Well, there's going to be a brief moment they're all going to look at you." She's like, "I'm not comfortable." I'm like, "No, I get you completely." And then that turkey, she got there. And she got around this group of friends that they're not the friends that she invites over.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the friends that she goes to get ice cream with. These are her school friends. They talk of school.
Mm-hmm.
And every picture, like, this was not the kid. I thought the last kid was the kid that would have done it. This kid was taking videos of her and her buddies in the graduation ceremony, joking and making faces at each other, and just having a great time. And she looked relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
and she looked incredibly happy. And, you know, I'm like, let me see that video again. You know, and let me see that video of you and your friends again. Because...
And I'm sure it was one of those that she was looking at like, oh, wow, this is a big step, but I've already been through so much that this is really not that big a deal.
Yeah, she calmed right down. And
I mean, I think it was that whole deep breath and, you know, and not that she was completely overlooked, but what she was doing in school wasn't as important as how Dad was feeling, how the doctor's appointment went. So, you know, that I kind of think in the back of her mind,
she got easy on some ways, because I stepped out all last year.
Yeah.
Her aide said, "I have her. You take care of him."
Yep.
And she did. She had her, because I would call and check on things, and she'd say, "Now, Mama, I told you I had her. You need to take care of Lee."
Yep.
And let me take care of her this year. And we did.
Yep.
And the change in her, like, we talk about change a lot, but the change in her between last year and this year,
the amount that this kid
crazy
has grown up in the last 2 years, it's I mean, she's above her years. She's probably...
We always said she was an old soul.
Yes, she probably...
is witty and sharp.
She's probably socially and definitely spiritually ahead of both her other sisters. And so... But anyway...
Yeah, she's just a different one. I mean, she's witty, which was not always loved by her teachers. She's kind of has a dry wit to her, and it could come out rude, but she doesn't try to be rude.
Because my filter was gone, completely gone. She fell right in, and she would use that as the excuse. Well, look at my dad. You know, I get it from him, and
she is a lot like you.
She is, and then it was kind of like, oh, yep. So she was able to be herself and not hold back, because there wasn't that, you know, Dad just got home from a 60-hour week and he's tired and has to go in for another 8 hours or 12 hours on a Saturday. You know, like, there wasn't that. It wasn't the, let's try to hold off until they go to bed or try to catch you before I go to, like, she would go to work or I would go to work. And
she's had a lot of time with you.
Yeah. So she's, like I said, she's been my right hand through all this. Now, she didn't, like, try to carry me up the stairs. She stayed at the bottom of the stairs and laughed if I missed a step. She'd make sure that I got up them, or somebody was able to call if I needed help.
On the same boat, had it been her, you would also have stayed at the bottom of the stairs and laughed.
Well, I probably would have walked behind her, 2-3 steps behind. But
and still laugh at her if she missed a step.
Well, yeah. But,
absolutely.
But the difference between the dad and the kid is the dad's going to be 2 or 3 steps behind,
Well,
where the kid's at the bottom waiting for it
this
to
is also the kid, like, if you're going to fall down the stairs, you're going to land on me, and that's not going to feel good, so I'm just going to get out the way.
That's why she'd stay at the bottom and move.
Now, she's a realistic kid.
Yeah, that's the difference between the kid and the dad.
Right.
The dad will be right there to fall with her. But anyway.
So, yeah, I think this week is going to be nice to have. We have a little downtime, you know, and then it feels like the end of June to the beginning of July, we're busy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts really, because August we move one back to school. You know, so
yep.
This is our kind of our down space.
So this is you know, we were talking yesterday a little bit, kind of joking but not really joking, that, you know, we have to make that point to, you know, take care of ourselves in this. And even though that we had all these celebration of milestones, and, you know, we had to, we're gonna, like, seriously, like, detox, like culinarily detox, because we've had a lot of starches that we don't normally have. And
I like to go to bed early, and I've been staying up a lot later.
Yep.
So I feel like crap half the time, and I haven't exercised in about 4 weeks, and it is just because it has been busy, and my mind has been busy, and trying to get everything handled and done and changed and fixed, and I'm running out of the evening.
Yep.
Like, by the time I get there, I'm exhausted.
And then, you got me going, hey, let's go to this. Hey, you want to do this?
I need to kind of revamp something so that I can work that in. I'm like, is it that I got to get up and do it in the morning? Ugh. I don't like to do that in the morning, and I don't, but do I need to do that to get that in?
I don't want to get up at 6 in the morning just to do Zumba with you.
I know. Well,
I'd rather do it on your lunch break at 11:30 in the kitchen.
But that's, you know, it's
making you lunch.
It's one of those, like, refiguring it out. And that has been my issue with this job, is trying to figure it out. You know, figure out when I can do things. Because I'm working until much later, where before I got off at 2 or at 4 or at 1 or at, and I had more available time.
Yep. So when we
get other stuff done, so that I can exercise it out. But
next week we will talk about our trip to the gym, because we will go this week.
We need to go a couple times this week.
Yep. So y'all are going to hold us accountable. If we don't talk about it, or we say we didn't go, shoot me an email and say, hey,
I actually
what the hell?
Look at to see if there were any classes today, and there really weren't any, because I'm really good in a class. Like, I like to do things. Not Zumba, because I don't move like that. Now our kid can move. Our middle daughter can move.
I just threw that out there because it popped in my head.
No, but like, I like to do, like, I don't know, there's this one class with a step. I don't know what it is.
The salsa. They do it.
No, it's not that.
I like the salsa class with chips.
Well, that's what we're detoxing from.
Yeah, I know, right? So the reason why we're talking about the detoxing is we try not to eat a whole lot of starch. Or personally, I don't eat a lot of white starch.
I don't either. I mean,
but you don't, because I don't.
Right.
I don't, because I find inflammation in my joints.
Well,
my knees especially.
I have the same.
So,
I have the same thing. I know when I'm eating badly because my body hurts.
So taters, any kind of taters, anything, you know, pasta noodles, any of that stuff, we try not to eat. We try not to eat junk food. Chips, Doritos.
No, we never buy chips because we know it's a downfall.
Yes. I try to make popcorn.
We can't do cookies.
No, cookies.
We can't have cookies in this house.
Oh, I love cookies.
It's
biscuits. You know, we try not to have that kind of stuff. And when it's just you and I, we do okay. We'll have moments where we stumble, but because it's in moderation.
It's typically if we go to dinner.
Yeah.
That's when we have it, because I know not to bring fries in. I know not to bring in ham and potato in, or rice in, or...
Right. So when we go to dinner, and I'll try to order a burger without a bun. Not too often, but that's my one for the week. So
right, that's our moderation.
That, and then I get a side salad instead of fries. That's been working pretty good. Or I just get the chef salad or whatever. But this week, when you got 6 other people coming in, none of them eat the way you do.
No.
Gramps will. He does, but it's still
your
outside
dad has
of
a sweet tooth.
Yeah, but it's outside of what he normally does. So, like tonight, for instance, chicken wings, and I just did a light glaze on some of the wings with the sauce, and he's like, "I'm getting this other stuff." No, buddy, no, I'm detoxing. I don't want none of that stuff.
I just ate chicken. No, I ate chicken for lunch.
Yeah.
And I ate cheese and veggies for dinner.
So that's what I mean by detoxing. It's a culinary detox. We have a whole bag full of like a shopping bag, like a brown paper bag, shopping bag, full of, I don't know. There's probably about 6 different kinds of chips.
That's okay. I think
Little Debbie's that was brought into the house. It wasn't us.
I think that we have a couple boys that are coming in this week to help put her graduation gift to herself together. So
we're going to be
we'll
feeding
feed them all the junk.
Yep.
Here, kids, eat the junk.
Take it with you. I don't want it.
Here, kids, eat the junk.
But with that, though, yes.
And we're gonna go home in July.
We did surprise. So last year for pay, when she graduated, we had 2 cakes, 2 graduation cakes. I made so I got this graduation cap, which it was an aluminum pan, cake pan. And I told her I was going to make the cake. And that was my big contribution, other than being there, to her graduation. I wanted to learn how to bake the cake and ice it. Well, I was going to bake the cake to try to save us a few bucks. A lot of bucks. And Mama said, then you need to learn how to ice it with icing from scratch. Okay, challenge accepted.
We
Took me a
ate
couple
so
times.
much cake getting ready.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was terrible. But that would be all we ate for the meal was cake. And
doesn't help.
No. But we got it. And I made the cakes. They were good. They were really good. So this year I was like, I'm doing them again this year. I had a harder time icing though.
I know.
But
I got the icing that she likes.
What I did was, what Mama and I decided to do was, I can bake them, and then I would ice them, but she would make the icing. So she made different icing this time, and
I bought it.
And then doctored it up, and it was a little too runny for parts of it, but it looked good. It looked good.
It was fine.
Cub was absolutely loved it. And I think she loved it so much because I made it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did it look like a toddler did it with, a kindergarten project? Yes. But I was okay. It was good. It tasted great. And I actually made 2 cakes that Friday. So I had to keep one that I moved aside all weekend to take to our church group. And Sunday she made up the icing and they decorated it and took it to group, and they were blown away.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because I bought, I didn't buy it, I brought a cake. But I wouldn't, we didn't have the fancy cake pan or nothing. We just had foil over it. And then when I opened it up, it wasn't just cake with icing on top. It was a bear head molded cake, and it was all iced really nice, and it sprinkles and the glitter, and it was nice. They were all blown away. One, because I brought it, and two, because I'm the one that made it.
Right.
Big softy over here.
That's exactly it.
But unfortunately, they didn't eat half of it, so
it's still here.
Yep. Gramps is slowly working on it. He got the third piece today, and he goes, "This is addicting." And I was like, "Gramps, stay out of there."
He has a sweet tooth.
He does.
From here to there, he has a sweet tooth.
Yeah. His sweet tooth is the size of his head.
Mm-hmm.
But he was telling me, so he's been in and out of the doctors for the last few weeks, and he was telling me that what he weighs, and I was like, "Dang!" He goes, "I haven't weighed that since I was in 8th grade," because I kind of joke with him that what I weigh now was what I used to weigh in the 8th grade. So he's telling me this, and he goes, "I need to get 5 more pounds." I said, "What?" He goes, "I need to lose 5 more pounds." I said, "Gramps."
Well, after this weekend, he's going to need to lose 10.
Yeah, I said, "Gramps, you're already small as all get out. I mean, you're probably in a large T-shirt now."
Honey, I've been buying him a large T-shirt for 2 years.
Well, he could probably fit in a medium then, but like a fat guy, not a fat guy medium, because that's like a 3X, but not a barbecue medium, but like a regular stretchy medium. But anyway, he said, "Well, if I lose 5 more pounds, then I get off the obese list."
Okay, I'm just going to address this. That whole BMI chart.
Yep.
Do you know that was made back in the day for men? It was not made for women. It was not made as a way to decide if you were overweight or underweight. It was made for some stupid thing. I don't know if it was like military made for that, but it wasn't made to be. It should not have become the standard that it is now.
Right.
And it doesn't take into account anything. It was made for like one specific body type.
Yep.
And that is that.
But every time you go in and they say, "Oh, okay, your A1C's here.
Your BMI is here."
It would be lower if your BMI was back in range. So you get tired of hearing it over, 20 years.
You should be a girl. Let me just go with that. You should be a girl, because it's shameful for girls to be overweight. This is the thing, boys. You have dad bods, right?
Okay.
No, there's no such thing for girls. It's either you're skinny and you're attractive, or you're heavy set and you're ugly. Like, that's it.
Okay.
So, like, dad bods are cool.
I don't know, because all the guys used to talk about the girls that were thick.
Well, to be thick, though, you got to have an itty-bitty waist and a booty.
Oh, so, I don't know.
So if you don't have an itty-bitty waist and a booty, you're not thick either.
Yeah. Well, back in my dating days, chasing women, okay, I didn't really chase many, or any. But anyway, back in the day, it was, if they were bigger than me, which at the time I was 340 pounds.
Okay, this is another reason. See, I listed out the BMI chart.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So my rule number 1 at 345 pounds was, if they're bigger than me, don't mess with them.
That's a good one. Okay. So the BMI chart, it only looks at weight, right? Height, weight. But it does not take into account your muscle mass. So if you are an athlete and you have a lot of muscle mass, you can still be obese because you weigh more because your muscles are bigger.
Okay.
So it says muscle weighs more than fat if it is denser. A cubic inch of muscle weighs more than a cubic inch of fat, scientifically. So if you are muscular, you can still be obese.
So LeBron James could be obese.
Maybe. He likely is. Because so many of them likely are. Let me see. How tall?
I guess I never thought of it like that.
How tall is LeBron?
Was he 6'7"?
Okay. So that is 78 inches?
Sure.
Oh, here, they do, what is this? 6'4". So let's say he's 6'4". Let's
go Michael Phelps.
Okay, give me Michael Phelps. How tall is he?
So Michael Phelps was 6'6".
Okay, I only have people up to 6'4". We can still use 6'4".
Okay.
Okay.
So let's say a swimmer at 6'4".
And how much does Michael Phelps weigh?
I don't know. 2 1/4?
Let me look. See, this is the tangents we can get on, and it's easy.
Yeah. And what's this got to do with anything about cancer? We're just talking. We don't know. But when you go to the doctors and they're like, oh, we need, because your BMI, you're obese.
This said that Michael Phelps weighed 198 pounds.
So I was close. I was closer than you were.
Well, I didn't have a weight.
That's why I was closer.
So, for 200 pounds I can't go 198, but for 200 pounds at 6'4", he is just barely healthy. Like if he
just barely. So if he was 205, he'd be obese.
If he was 205, he would be overweight.
So 2 1/4 would be obese.
Yes. If he was 2 1/4, he would be obese. But now let's look at your that's why I thought a basketball player. So a football player. There are numerous football players are 225. Guess what? For every height over 225, every height over 5'9", everything over 5'9" and 225 pounds, they are all either obese or severely obese. So you're going to tell some of the best athletes in the world that based on the BMI chart, they're severely obese.
Which I don't know, it just came to mind. We were flipping through channels, and they had the world's strongest on there.
Mm-hmm. All of those guys would be obese.
So there's a guy on there, and I mean, he was huge.
But he was jacked. It wasn't fat.
His pecs and his arms were chiseled, but he had a beer keg gut. And I was like, dude. I mean, he's out there. He's got this, the big beer keg gut. And I think he ended up winning the thing. Or advancing. Because they were doing so many in the advance. So he ended up advancing. But I was like, dang.
So, okay. Here's another good estimate for you, okay? This will help put it in perspective. Our child, our oldest.
Yeah.
When she graduated high school.
Okay.
Her graduation dress was a size 2.
Okay.
Okay, a size 2. They started 0. She was a size 2. Based on her height and her weight, she was overweight.
Wow.
Based on this BMI chart, she was overweight. She wore a size 2. She wore a size 4 in pants.
Dang. So what would be the size pants of somebody in, well, I guess it'd be different because the height would change.
What do you mean?
So, like, is a size 36 pant, like...
Well, for you, 36 inches around your waist. So for your height, for you, even though you were still considered obese, even though if you would have to lose... You would have to lose 50 pounds to be normal weight.
So what you're telling me is, before cancer, I was
You were
morbidly...
over here in the severely obese section.
Yeah. So cancer got me to just obese. Woo!
But if I see you 50 pounds less...
Oh, yeah.
You would look so incredibly sick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that. That's just, this chart is so outdated.
It's just a crazy thing.
It's a crazy thing that I hope I never see you 50 pounds less. Because I think if I see you 50 pounds less, it means cancer is winning.
Yeah. I don't, because I'm not trying to lose weight. And I've been hovering.
You would look so sick.
I've been comfortably hovering around 2.25, and have been for 6-7 months.
Yep.
And
2.25. Yeah. So you would have to lose a whole lot more than what I thought.
Oh, thanks, hon. Jeez.
Well, no, the top range to keep you would be 170. It is 50 pounds. 160. Between 160 and 170.
Yeah. No. That would have been probably when I was graduating the 5th grade.
But, I mean, for your height, could you imagine? Like, let's just really think about it.
Because in the 8th grade...
How sick you would look at that weight.
Because in the 7th grade, 8th grade, I was like 180.
Like, that's more than what our oldest daughter weighs now. That's, 160 is more than that. But could you imagine being her weight at your height?
Oh, no.
That would make you healthy.
Yeah. Ooh.
Her weight at your height.
That'd make my beard look really, really, really big.
I mean, that's
Whoa.
Insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And they factor that into, so that I don't know why it just led me right into the diabetic diet plan that the hospital was trying to feed me.
I'm all for a good dietary plan if it makes sense.
Yeah, when I was in the hospital after brain surgery, they tried to feed me a diabetic diet, and damn it, if it wasn't starches, I had a lot of starch, and I had a pudding. I had a pudding cup every.
But I feel like it was sugar free.
I don't know. I don't remember eating it, but and it was all cold. Like, it was heated, and then it was like put in the refrigerator or something.
Yeah.
And it was bland. There was nothing. Yeah. Or applesauce. And I was like, you're giving me an applesauce, but then you're going to give me stuff because my sugar's high.
Right.
That was the stuff that didn't make sense, was they was trying to give me all the stuff that would raise my blood sugar and then try to give me medicine to keep it down.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
so yeah, that's a little rant for this episode.
Yep. Well, we did discuss our why, or my why.
Yeah.
We didn't. Well, it's pretty hard and emotional to get into it really deep, but
my why for fighting fighting for you is you're an integral part of our lives. You know, I've gone through that, losing your father.
Yeah.
And when your father was your role model, and your girls really do look up to you.
And that's kind of, up until this, I would say that was scary.
You know, so
because it's not been an easy road. The paths in self-destruction that I've been on have not made it easy, and
so I need to keep you here.
Yeah.
You know, and
because I'm the only one who can deal with these crazy women.
The dealing goes both ways, handsome. But our family won't feel right if you're not here.
Well, that's,
you know,
it's
so
good to feel like you belong. Thanks,
such
honey.
a smart ass.
I know.
But so that's why I fight for you.
Yeah.
And like for me, you know, we've talked about how this has aged you. It's aged me too.
Yes.
And it's changed the way I think and the way I perceive things and the way I feel and where I am spiritually, where I am emotionally, where I am on my own health journey. And some days I'm running strong and other days I'm barely flying. So I have to take control of that in a different way. And I'm in a different phase of my life. I'm a little older than you, and it is changing on me as well in a completely crazier way. It affects my sleep differently than it affects yours. And, you know, for me, my parents both passed fairly young.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was really young. He's the age basically that Mike is now.
Yeah.
And
my mom passed.
Your mom passed young.
Really young.
My mom was older. I mean, she was 72 when she passed.
Dad had made the comment last night at group that we're creeping up on 14 years. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I haven't, because when my mom passed, I was in it. I went into a different headspace, hole, rut, whatever you want to call it. And I lost a complete year. I have no idea what happened between that first year anniversary for her. Not a clue. I know I worked every chance I got, and I drank every chance I got.
Yeah.
And
again, it's, why do you get keyed up? Well, it's because I haven't taken a break off.
Yeah, it's been one thing after another.
You kind of got lost in yourself during some of these times. Well, I couldn't get lost because you got lost.
And I tried to get her crazy to match my crazy, but it didn't work.
No, so it's
fortunately.
Like you go from one thing to the next thing to the next. So this year, it's all sunk in for me. Yeah. Everything has just sunk in, and it has aged me in a whole different way.
Yep.
And so I am trying to pay attention to what my body is saying. And do I think things are going a little weird inside there? Yes, I do. I do think there are some things going a little weird inside.
I would like to say that I am happy for you when you get your hair done now.
Aww.
More so than what I ever was. One, because it makes you feel good and you get rid of all your grays that bother you. I don't care, but it bothers you.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you feel like really good. I still haven't got the what to say when you're like, do you like it? And you're like posing and all that. And I'm like, yeah. Because I haven't prepared myself for that.
So I'm just going to throw this out, babe. Occasionally, I said, babe, I like that outfit. I like that color in you. Your hair looks nice. I like to hear those things.
Okay. Guys, write that down.
A lot of guys already know that.
Okay, so radiation can, when it zaps your brain and fries things.
No.
It can fry some integral parts So make sure you put that on paper because
It's one of those things. Like I like to be touched. The words matter too, dear.
oh.
Like I like to hold hands. I like to snuggle. I like to cuddle. I like to sit by each other. I like that.
Yeah. I'm still not. No.
Love languages, baby.
Yeah, I know.
That's your next book. I'm gonna buy it for you.
Yeah. You keep talking about that. I keep hearing about it.
I should just buy it, and it should be something we do this summer.
That we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've read worse. The placebo effect was kind of.
No, I think the worst was how to raise daughters.
I didn't even get past the introduction.
No, you didn't.
Not because I didn't know that I didn't want to read it or I didn't think the guy knew what he was talking about, but in the space that I was in, I would have had to have been sober to read it.
Maybe you should go back to it.
I should. It's on it's over in the pile of books to read.
Yeah.
But
maybe
I've
it's
not been
one
doing
of those
so.
that you should.
I
haven't been reading. I haven't been able to focus.
I've been trying to read that The Butcher and the Wren.
I struggled.
It's a good book. It really is. So the lady that is on the podcast, Morbid.
Yeah, we love morbid.
And it's a crime, true crime
told with a little twist, a little spice.
Yeah, they talk about all these different cases or whatever. Well, the one young lady, wrote a book and published it, and it's been a great seller for her or whatever. And as I was reading it, I'm not really knowing what to expect in it. I mean, it opens up like a TV show, like an episode of Criminal Minds. You get you get the kind of the victim's point of view, what the bad guy, the assailant, the killer. I was stuck on words. I was like, boo. What he's doing, his point of view, and then it jumps to what the cops are doing and the investigation, and then back and forth to the three. So it's kind of like a show. And I'm not to the point where they've actually met in person, but there was a nice plot twist right in the middle that I'm like, ooh, spicy. So it's kind of interesting. And they go into some details of, because the one main character, Ren, does the not optometry, but the where they exhume the dead. They examine the bodies. Autopsy, yes.
Optometry or eyes. Baby.
I know, that's why I said it wasn't that, but I was close. And then it's like the Bayou Butcher, because it takes place in Louisiana.
Well,
so it's a good read. It's just my mental space when I sit down.
That's it. I haven't been in the right space to read it.
Yep, I can sit down and some days I'll be able to flip through pages, and in about 6 hours I've accomplished 12 pages.
But I haven't read a book in 2 weeks.
I haven't
read anything in 2 weeks.
You read her graduation announcement with a magnifying glass.
The program.
The program.
Again, I was feeling really old. I asked my sister, who's actually older than me, but I asked her, can you read this writing, or is it just me?
Like, it was tiny
It was
print.
like 8. It was like 8 points, like 8-point font on the computer. It was like, and it was cursive-y. So it wasn't even crisp lettering. It was all like that calligraphy cursive-y.
No.
And it didn't need to be like that because there were only 120 students.
It
could have been bigger.
If you imagine what the Smurfs newspaper looked like, that's what this was.
It just looked like scribbles.
It was terrible.
I was like, gosh.
It looked pretty, though.
It looked fine, but it just
you couldn't
was
read.
Tiny.
She said, what's this say? And I was like, get away from me.
So we just watched it.
Yeah.
We just watched the graduation.
But it was a good ceremony. We had a great weekend.
We did. She's happy. she is excited. She's ready for the next phase. I asked her if she felt different now. And, you know, we always say that. Every kid's birthday, you feel older. But I said, does it feel different to you? Knowing that this isn't your summer break. Like, you don't have to go back to school in the fall. Like, she's choosing to go to college. But she doesn't have to go back to school. This is something for the next phase. You know, it's different.
Yep.
And she said, yeah, it's like, she said it's weird because before I knew I would have 3 months off and then I'd start in again. And I would go back to the school and back to the schedule and back to the comfort. And that's gone. Like, she'll go back to school. She has big dreams here.
Yep. And one thing that
we're going to work on this.
I think she's realized through the last couple years that she is a lot stronger than what she ever gave herself credit for.
Girl can advocate. Is it the way you and I advocate? Not necessarily. But does she advocate for herself? Yes, she does.
Yeah, and her principal stopped her because one of the teachers was giving her a bunch of static, and she went right back at him. You know, hey, you told me to do this, and that's what I did. And now you're telling me I shouldn't have done that. And he started him-hawing around, you know, well, but this, it was the way you said this. And she's like, no, you told me to stand up for myself, and I did. And now that I did, you're telling me I was wrong.
You're mad in the way in which I did it.
And so he was like, he wanted to keep talking to her to try to change his point of view from what he said versus what he meant to say. And she said, do I need to get my dad? Because he's out here waiting on me. And the guy was like, nope, you're fine. Just tone it down next time.
Her aides are like, from the girl who came in here who wouldn't stick up for herself, this girl sticks up for herself, for others. She doesn't mince a lot of words. You know, she's right when she's doing it. And so, you know, going into this next section, I think it's going to be hard for her.
Yep.
But I think she's ready. Like, she's excited about this next part. But she did thought it felt odd because she's in a new space.
Yeah.
That she doesn't know how to navigate yet. Because she always knew the plan.
And I'm looking forward to, it's going to sound cliche, but y'all have, you know the situation, that I'm excited to physically see what this kid's going to do.
I think this upcoming year for you is going to be important because you weren't involved when the first one went to college.
Right.
And when the second went to college, you were completely immersed in treatment and you weren't clear.
Yep.
And so, you know, barring everything goes well in June, this will be the first time we're sending kids to college with you clear.
Yes.
And watching them and talking to them about the struggles and the anxiety and, you know, all of the stuff that comes with it.
Yep. Because the trip that I went up to go get pay,
that's the first time you've moved one in or out.
Yes.
No,
I helped the oldest one move in.
A couple times. But typically, I move them in and out.
Yes. To do it without you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was huge. And, you know, I did pay for it for the next 4 days. I mean, I was wiped. I learned a lot in that little trip on, you know, my body, what I'm doing, what I'm capable of doing, and the repercussions of it afterwards. But
well, and I hope it gave you a little bit of idea about what I do when I do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Another side of it, because it's.
But it was one of those that I wouldn't have. It went the way that it was supposed to, and I'm glad I was able to do it.
Right?
You know, it's the small blessings.
It's one of those things because I
you know, that lady wrote that book, and I keep referring to the dang thing because it took me so long to read it. It's called 1,000 Gifts. And it sticks with me because this lady was like, the birds chirping, that's a gift from God. You know, and seeing the mailman drive past, that's a gift from God. Seeing the rain come and then the weeds grow, that's a gift. And it's like, so I start seeing those things. And yesterday when we were sitting in the garage doing our live show on YouTube, Cub had opened the garage door up a lot higher, and you know, to get the air out, and because we were cooking on the Blackstone. But anyway, I looked over and I said, "Look at that, Gramps." There was the big cardinal was out dancing in the front yard.
see.
And I said, "Oh man, somebody's stopping in and say hey." So, little blessings.
Little blessings.
And
yeah,
you know, I try. I don't count them, but I just, there's another one.
Yeah, I think it's one thing in the everyday for me to say, "Hey, I'm really glad you're here," but it was the big moments.
Yeah.
Shopping, grocery shopping, and trying to plan what we were doing for her. And I told you in the middle of Sam's, I'm glad you're here to do this with me.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not doing this by myself. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to do a graduation party by myself. I remember when my dad was sick, he held on as long as he did because things were left unfinished. You know what? We were pregnant. You were adopting Sydney. Our nephew was doing something.
Yep.
And so he held on for all of those events. And then once that was done, he was like, things are finished. Everybody's settled. I can do this. And so I'm like, I'm glad that you're here to do those events with me.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean now that all the kids are out of school, it doesn't mean you can like turn tail and change it up because we have college graduations next, baby.
Yep. And I'm looking forward to seeing those.
So.
I'm looking forward to seeing them. So we're gonna get out of here. We ran a little long, but we kind of covered a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, remember your why. Remember the why you do things, why it's important for you to get out of bed, why it's important for you to grab that cup of coffee and thank the Lord that you just accomplished the two most important things of the day.
Why it's important that we got to go to the gym.
Yes. So, with that, just be kind to everybody. Treat them as you want to be treated. You see somebody with having a bad day, be that reason why their day turns around. Whether you ask them how they're doing or where they got their hair color, because the hair colors are changing.
I'm going to put black more in my hair again. I liked it.
Yeah. You know why they're changing. You see a lot more kids with the reds and the blues, and one lady had cotton candy at the graduation.
Just looked great on her.
Yeah, just make a nice comment. You know, they put the little wings in their eyelashes now.
Mm-hmm. They love it.
Tell her she looks heavenly. Whatever. But just be that.
Or just say, "Hey, babe, I like that color on you."
But I'm thinking if you're talking to the lady at the cash register.
I'm saying if you're going to do it to others, you got to do it in these walls too.
Oh yeah, and also say that to your wife.
All right. Have a good week.
All right. Well, everybody, stay safe, and we will catch you on the next one. Rock on, everybody. Melanoma warriors unite. Like, what in the world?
Are you going to hit the stop button?
I'm trying. There it goes, yeah.